In honor of the centennial celebration of Liliuokalani Gardens, the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association donated floral art pieces made with locally grown flowers and foliage. Visitors to the gardens admired the striking arrangements and exotic flowers. A large floral art piece was installed at the Hawaii County Building. By using locally grown flowers and foliage, the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association also demonstrated the amazing diversity of flowers and plants that are available from local growers and distributors. These businesses are important to a sustainable economy in Hawaii, and the flowers and foliage they grow can replace imports that may carry harmful pests and diseases. In 1907, the last monarch to rule the Kingdom of Hawaii, Queen Liliuokalani, donated this 5-acre lagoon to be used as a park. Today, Liliuokalani Gardens is a beloved part of Hilo town. For the centennial celebration of the park, the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association sponsored a floral design workshop with world-renowned designer Hitomi Gilliam, AIFD. Participants divided into groups and created 16 arrangements. They assembled the arrangements in the garden for the public's enjoyment.
We come every day and walk around the park, and today is a very special day for the celebration of Queen Liliuokalani's 100th centennial, and we've been very blessed with the beautiful displays of these floral designs.
Everyone is so unique to the designers. We're just amazed at all the different designs.
The Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association also presented a large floral art piece to the County of Hawaii.
Friends of Liliuokalani Gardens, as a nonprofit sponsor, helping the county on maintenance, capital improvements, and centennial events, is just delighted to have this be part of our centennial celebration. Located on 24.67 acres on Waiakea Peninsula, Liliuokalani Gardens is an umbrella for Isles, Rockaway, and Mokuola, as well as the old garden that many people still know as Nihon Koen. The desire for a Japanese landscape dates way back, and it includes time with the Queen, who donated some of the original acreage. The desire grew with the increase in immigrant population, and there was a group called Hilo Fujin Shinkokai that was dedicated to beautification. They worked together in Hilo and a separate group in Honolulu with the Outdoor Circle. They wanted a tea garden, and they thought about mo'ohel, but I think after Laura Kennedy and her husband Charles went to Japan in 1914, they came back enthused. And so the local group realized, at mo'ohel, we have no elbow room, no room to expand. And it was Mrs. Kennedy who had seen Kinkakuji and thought, there's a pond, we could do that. And she came back in love with Japanese gardens, and so the idea moved over to Waiakea, to Makaoku and Kainehe. Those place names are important. The gardens were named in honor of the Queen early in the springtime of 1917, so she knew this was happening. Her lifelong appreciation for nature caused Liliu to gift several communities with land for parks. Liliuokalani, as a lady of refinement and culture, had a great love for cut flowers and for arrangements. Liliuokalani, as an Ili'i Moku, had a dedication to peace. Those two facts in her very full and historic life come together in this floral design to celebrate the Queen and her legacy of peace. And Liliuokalani Gardens during the dual centennial this year, marking the beginning of construction on the gardens and the passing of the beloved Queen. Friends of Liliuokalani Gardens is most grateful to Eric Tanoy and the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association and all of your grower partners for bringing this 6-year dream into reality. We are astounded and exhausted by the energy and creativity of Hitomi Gilliam and her fellow AIFD helpers. Helpers is such a small word for everything you did. Suzanne Law and Greg Lau. Thank you, everyone, for celebrating the Queen and joy in the gardens.
Thank you. On behalf of the county, we'd like to say thank you very much for giving the County of Hawaii an opportunity to have this beautiful display in this atrium. It really helps. I think the cranes represents peace. Definitely is one of the mayor's agenda to make sure that in this county that we represent peace and for the state of Hawaii as well.
And the flowers of the island is very, very special. I am truly an ambassador of tropical flowers to the world because I do travel around the world. And I just can't say enough about how beautiful it is. And you know, some people find it very unusual that when I hang out with these people, when we travel, they're like, oh, you're from which island? And I say, well, I'm actually from Canada. But really the significant thing about that, I really truly believe, is that sometimes it takes an outsider to show the insider how beautiful what they have in their backyard is. And I mean, I covet everything that I see here. I see as a cropia leaf on the ground, and I bring it to Eric and said, this is something that he's like, that's junk. It is not junk to the rest of the world. I want you to know that everything here is very special. So I try very hard to make people aware around the world of the beauty that really surrounds you here. And so I feel very, very honored and privileged to have been asked to do this as an outsider to interpret what truly is what's the amazing the gardens, the Liliuokalani Garden, and the celebration of 100th anniversary, and with the flowers that I truly love. So that's really the connection. And so I sort of entitled this particular piece, well, I have to say just a little bit about how this came about, because initially it was to be out in the garden, but we realized that we can't guard it to prevent it from vandalism, so then it was sought out to bring it here. And KT said, perhaps you can build a sculpture here, here, here. But then I thought, well, you know, it needs to be something central so that when you walk in, you see. And it then became from a 12-foot sculpture out in the garden to a 26-foot wide by almost 18 feet high, which I wasn't really prepared for. So this was a real monumental, probably the biggest design that I've ever created. And I could not have done it without the help that we had here. I mean, this is where the community of Hilo has really stepped in, because when I suggested that why don't we do the 100 cranes to commemorate the 100 years and the peace, that I suggested that let's have everyone in this community chip in and make these pieces so that 100 people or 100 hands has had a touch in this particular piece to make it truly a community effort. And this came about because KT got it all together. And that's what I feel so special about this. This is not, it's a vision, but it was vision that was created by the efforts of all those people here, right here in the city. So I think it really is truly a Hilo piece. So I call it Red Torii, because as the garden indicates, always the entry to the garden is through a torii. And I remember, as being a Japanese, the red was a very significant color, red and white, very auspicious. So it's all about celebration. And so I really tied in everything I know about Japan, about Hawaii, about the flowers, everything to make this piece as meaningful as possible for this community. So I feel really, really, really great that it really is truly the effort of everyone. And everyone, I have to tell you, the hundreds of hands. I mean, I have never seen a community come forward to volunteer to help in every parts of this. I mean, they came out of the woodworks. And I mean, you know, when the guys drove up with 4 or 5 trucks with, you know, because KT, I said to her, I need 18-foot pieces of bamboo. And she's like, we can do it. So I have to thank everyone for making this possible, and I hope that you can enjoy the efforts of all right here. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining again in this celebration this morning of the anniversary of the 100 years of Liliuokalani Gardens. I join you here as president of Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association. We're a statewide umbrella group. We're about 300 members strong statewide. A lot of us are very small business, husband and wife, families. We're in all rural communities of the state of Hawaii. So we're out there in your church pews, in your supermarkets, in your schools. And what we do is we take care of the land, we grow hopefully nice flowers and plants. And thank you. And we sell inter-island, we sell intra-island, we export to the international markets and the mainland. So we try and share the grown in aloha with everyone in the world. On behalf of HFNA, it gives me great pleasure to be here to dedicate this piece to the County of Hawaii and also to the Friends of Liliuokalani Gardens. I hope that you agree with me, but we feel this piece shares the feeling in this design of our beauty and of our community on this island in the County of Hawaii. And we thank you so much for being here to celebrate it with us. Thank you so much. The Buy Local, It Matters campaign is so vitally important to our members because our members grow these beautiful products, floral and plants, for the enjoyment of people, whether it's in the state or for export. But it drives a local economy. It drives export, so we can import dollars coming from outside. But it also shares in the economy locally on our island and in the state. And it fuels our small businesses, our family operations, so they can do what they enjoy doing. So it's really important that you remember whenever you're making that choice, and we understand it is a choice. We appreciate when you make that choice to buy local products and use it in your special lifestyle events. The other important component is the import replacement. The import replacement program is getting more and more critical, because what it basically means and is what it says. If we can grow things for the local demand, if we can produce things for our community and our citizens, then we don't have to import it. It drives economy, but it also prevents sometimes the importation of invasive pests and plants.
The Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association shares the goals of the Hawaii State Department of Agriculture and its Buy Local, It Matters campaign. Buying local creates jobs in Hawaii and reduces imports that might carry harmful invasive species. It's about sustainability and protecting Hawaii's culture, economy, and natural environment. The Floral Design Workshop demonstrated how beautiful arrangements can be made entirely from flowers and foliage grown in Hawaii.
Today, what I'm going to do is actually kind of go with you, share with you some different mechanics and techniques, but also some different ideas and different concepts that might influence you, that you might grab on and say, oh, that's kind of cool, I want to try that. So the first thing I want to do is to discuss the wood pick. How many of you use wood pick? Okay, I know some of you are like master gardeners and maybe you are not accustomed to some of this, but I think it's something that we never really learned how to use it. We always assume that must be the way. If you're designing effectively and it's working for you, that's good. But you can improve. You can always improve. And what happens with this, the improvement that you get is a much more secure insertions, and it's also efficient. So it's about speed and effectiveness of that mechanic. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend this is a stem of a flower, or it could be a branch, whatever. But it's a little short and I want it to stick out farther in the arrangement. So I'm going to use a wood pick because that'll help extend it up. Now, do you know why a wood pick is square?
So it doesn't come out of the styrofoam.
Yes, it grips better with the corners because if these were round like a skewer, it could still twirl around, but a square doesn't twirl. So that's why it's good. So I don't know exactly what kind of wood this is, but why is it a wood pick and not a steel pick? Or yes, when it goes into the wet foam, it swells up and it fills that space and makes it even tighter. So it's, you have to think about, these are things you take for granted, like it works, but you don't know why sometimes. But that's the reason. It's square, so it doesn't swivel, and it swells up, so it stays solid, right? And it comes with that piece of wire. The key thing is you're going to run the wood pick along the side so that this will give the extension. You want to have that length here so it gives it extension. So what you want to do is wrap a couple times, just 2 times, and then you wedge this wire in between those two, right? If you wedge that in between those two, then it locks it in place. You bring it down to the bottom and wrap this, and then you actually wedge that piece in between those two so that you wrap twice, wrap in between two, bring it down, wrap twice, and then bring it up so that it's attached on both ends solid. Now every insertion that you do with this will be very secure. So I thought I would start with a mechanic that's quite new, and I know some of you have seen it because we had actually Holly Hyder Chapel with us on the Kona side doing a workshop with me, and she has this cool mechanic that she calls like a chicken wire egg or chicken wire pillow. The thing that's different about this, and well, it's kind of a little bit controversial. People say, oh, we've known that for years. But the way she does it is new. Because when I saw her do it, I'm like, oh my God, I have been playing with chicken wire for 30 plus years and I have never tried that. And that is so good that I could never just say, oh, I came up with it. I have to give her credit because it is so good. So I'm going to just show you what that is because I think you'll find that just in everyday designing even, that you'll find this to be a very useful trick. So what you need is chicken wire, and you want like a coated chicken wire, not just a raw chicken wire, galvanized wire, because that's not good in water, right? It rusts and it's not good for it. So what I'm going to do is cut it so this is the width it comes in. So I'm going to cut it down the middle here. I usually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 wide. And I'm just going to cut sort of through the middle like this. This is just such a good mechanic. I just love it. Because one of the things that I really dislike today about vase arrangement in glass is there's too many stems stuffed in it and it looks so dirty. And the whole idea of designing glass, the glamour of it was that clarity, clean water, and you see glass, water, and clean stems. But you never see that in vase arrangement today because it's so stuffed and dirty and there's grime and awful. So, but this will help clean that up. So the side that's already sort of seamed, I just bring it around, and you can make this smaller or bigger by, seaming it in different. So I'm going to kind of go tighter, like this, and I'm just going to take a piece of fine wire, and I'm just going to kind of sew it sort of together. You can do it in whatever way, but just the whole idea is you just want to kind of bind it together so it stays together. So I'm just going to sew it together like this. And then I flatten it. Holly does it her way. I kind of figure out the way that works for me, so this is just what I do. I flatten it like this, and then I take the needle nose plier. It's an indispensable part of our tools today because we work with a lot of wire. And what I'm going to do is just simply sort of twist this and bring it in so that it closes it up. So I'm going to just twist that together and bring it in.
So I'm going to close it up like this on both ends. So basically, it sort of scrunches it up on the end so that it creates that kind of a closed kind of egg shape. So this is what it looks like when you puff it up. So it's like this. So this is the thing that is different than what was done before. What was done before was maybe we scrunch this up like this and we stuff it inside. But this is the coolest part of it, is that you don't stuff it, you just set it on top, right? So it's designed like this so you never see the mechanical or chicken wire in the water. And it's brilliant because there's also people who do this. Like they'll take a piece of chicken wire and then they'll just tape it so that there's a grid, like, you know, cut smaller, so that it's a grid and they tape it. That's okay, or that gridding is okay, but it's the fact that you have two layers that it goes through. The stems stay in place because it goes through two layers. If you go like this, there's a lot of wiggle room because it doesn't go through two layers. It's the two layers that make it work. That's why it's brilliant. So this is like, I say it's a life changer. That's what I say, because when I found this, I'm like, that is like every day, I can use this every day. And the best part of it is that you will use less product, because you can stuff it as much as you want, but you can just use 3 or 4 stems plus a foliage or something to cover. So you can do it in whatever way you want. It's fantastic. So I'm going to set it like this on the top. So what I'm going to show today to design into this, you can do this also as a hand tie. So you can do a hand tie bouquet in this also. And again, you'll get the angling of the stems much better. Because you know, with hand tie, they press into each other so that sometimes this rose is buried by the other rose. This won't happen because you can design from every which direction to get the spread that you want quickly. So it works fantastic. But what I'm going to show today is designing in the cylinder. And I'm going to do it differently than because what I'm doing today is more like maybe artful, creative design rather than sort of everyday or bridal work or any specific florist work, because we're really targeting with this workshop and the installation to be floral art out there in the garden rather than just a big arrangement. You know, we don't want funeral pieces sprays out there. We don't want a big triangle out there because that's just too ordinary. We want to show the art of flowers out there. So that's why I want to kind of show you the different possibility. And with this one, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to attach on some interesting pieces of wood to this, so that it already sort of covers a little bit of the structure, so that it adds a little bit more sort of nature's artfulness to this particular piece, like that. So I'm going to add, yeah. So what I'm going to do, this is how we're going to kind of get this done. So I want this to be up high. So now you can find this piece. I think I'm going to go into this hole here. Okay. Like this. Right? Let's tie this in here again. And we need a longer piece. You can use zip ties too, but I actually, for smaller pieces like this, I just use fine wire. So we have beautiful passion vine. Tendrils are a really big part of Art Nouveau. So, and growing tips, and how vital growing tips are in an arrangement, because when you have growing tips in an arrangement, it looks like, even though it's cut, it still looks like it's growing. And that's what we want, that feel of nature, that it's still robust and it's still growing. So that's why the nouveau is such a fabulous word to sort of engage in. So I'm going to just kind of tuck this in, make sure that it's in water. But then we might just bring this around and attach to a spot here. That's the whole idea of the structure, is it just becomes a point of attachment. So we still have to balance, so we're going to use some of these ginger, shampoo ginger. So I'm going to add that in there. Sink it low, so it sits perfect, right? So, I mean, right now, even though it's in wire, it's behaving like you're designing in foam because it stays exactly in place. Right in here. This is a chopped off end, but that's okay. We still can get lots of energy out of it. So we're gonna go and attach this to that. You know, it's all about just kind of keeping it really fluid. I have a little bit of, you know, a chicken wire to hide. I'm gonna go ahead and take this, just a little short piece like this, so I can hide in here real tight. And then this longer piece, I just trim it and bring it in from the side so that I can start to cover some of the mechanics of the chicken wire. Now we're gonna put this at chote. I mean, like the textures, like texture of this. Look at this next to this. Like, look at this next to this. It's like you have it, like all of it. It's crazy. I love it so much. Yeah, I know. The key to a good design is contrast. So it could be a soft contrast, but it could also be a very drastic opposition contrast for a real big story. So this, but it's all about this. It's a contrast from this to this, contrast from this to this, contrast from this to this. It's all about the relationship that you create. The more there is, the more the story. It's like a really good soap opera. Like there's conflicts, you need that. But there's some romantic moments, you need that. So there's similarities, there's contrast, but all that going on is what creates a beautiful, beautiful story. And that's what this design is.
Throughout Hawaii, there are many farms and nurseries that grow a wide range of flowers, foliage, and decorative plants. When people purchase these, local jobs are created, and there is a lower risk of accidentally importing invasive pests and diseases that are harmful to people and the natural environment. Buying local also reduces transportation costs and related carbon emissions that add to global warming. The Hawaii State Department of Agriculture and the University of Hawaii's College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources have free information to help farmers grow many types of flowers and plants, and tips for running a business. And finally, the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association is a nonprofit membership organization with a range of services and activities dedicated to promoting locally grown flowers and plants. Natural beauty, locally grown. A great way to celebrate and bring joy, while at the same time supporting sustainability for Hawaii. Aloha.